Hello and welcome to another brand new Unsourced. Well, I'm joined again by Tony and Doug and special guest Mikhail as we are talking about the second and final Children of Korra movie. We made it. We did it. It's all this time, and we're finally here at the final sacrifice.
Oh,
In all seriousness, though, it's so funny that it's gotta be the earliest a movie, a horror franchise has ever used the word "final" in its title. It's like gotta be the earliest time, and it kind of feels like they just want to get over with. Like this is it. We got to stop this before it grows. But like you know what? Let's go around the table again. Mikkel, since you were here last time, let us know just your general, thoughts about, Children of Corn overall in this movie, and what you thought about it.
I mean, I saw this film alongside the first one back in the 90s. I believe at the time we only had like one real premium cable movie channel, and they were showing a lot of stuff that was like in that low video quality. Like they were showing a lot of horror movies on that channel. And Children of the Corn was on it like a lot. And then they started, and the second one was as well. I'm not sure if the others were on that same channel. I somehow saw Isaac's return at some point. I don't remember how that even happened. But I definitely remember thinking there was something about that first Children of the Corn movie. Like as a kid, it was actually kind of, when I saw it, it was kind of scary. And some, but it's one of those films that you find maybe on cable, and it kind of stands out to you for one reason or another. And I haven't revisited it in years, but it was fascinating to listen to you guys talk about it and discuss some of its structural problems, which I had never considered before. But now I see that, yeah, they are absolutely there, and it really and that was kind of revelatory. So the second movie, I rewatched it just yesterday, and I have to say it's amazing what a mess it is. Honestly, I mean, I don't think they were trying to make it funny exactly, but there are moments here that are either intentionally or unintentionally hilarious. I think there was at least like one. I think at least one of the deaths in this movie was kind of sort of intended as a joke.
It was a parody, yeah, and we'll get to that.
Yeah. And as a whole, it's really like this is the kind of movie that I would say really for me falls into the category of idiot plot, because it can really only work if well, I would say if all the adults the only reason this movie quote unquote works is in the sense that all of the adults here are acting like idiots, and that's the only way that any of it makes any sense. And that's kind of funny in and of itself, because I think that kind of makes you uh unintentionally want all of the adults to die. Like, I mean, that's kind of how I feel. And it has some moments, I think, of inspiration. I actually like what I actually like the Micah character, or rather like, I don't know, I feel like that's the only character and the
I
only
like the
performance.
performance of Micah.
Yes,
It's
the
really weird.
performance. Yes, it
Okay,
is.
I'm against both for you, but I'm not gonna be too harsh. He's a little kid. He's not like 30. He's not a 30-year-old man with scrappy doo disease at this time. Okay, he's a, he was really good. He's a little kid, so I'm not gonna be too harsh.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it was like maybe the guy's like first performance, but overall, I don't know. There's just something like really magnetic overall about it, and it's just kind of weird and over the top, and I kind of buy him as a cult leader at the end of the day. Um, and I do think this movie. Okay, so here's another thing I liked: the music. I don't know what is up with the score, but the score, at least in the version of the film that I saw, is actually like really nice. Like, I mean, for a movie like this, I was not expecting the music to be as like as nice as it is. And it definitely felt a bit more. I don't know if they had a bigger budget than the last movie, but it did feel at times that it was at least slightly a larger scale. So I guess points for that.
There is a
Uh,
climax, unlike the
There,
last movie.
what are you talking about? There was a climax in the first movie. When they when keep
Burnt up the field.
when the filter killed both Isaac and Malachi. That that happened. So Tony, what do you think about Children of Corn 2? Your general thoughts on it?
Yeah, for sure. For Children of the Corn 2, I'd seen these movies like a decade or plus ago. So, like, my memory of these movies was quite hazy. But the only reason that this movie sticks out in my mind whatsoever, and this is when I reveal how I watched this movie, was that of all the films, this was the final film that Joe Bob Briggs covered on Monster Vision before he was canceled. And this was the final movie that he covered before he came back with The Last Drive-In. He was unceremoniously canceled mid-season, and this was the final film that he covered. And to honor that, I watched the film in its original airing on TNT with Joe Bob Briggs. So that means I watched the edited version for television. I saw less violence. I had certain swear words from the scenes were cut out. So I guess I may not have seen the whole film, but I had a funny time with it. But what I will say about this movie is, Mikhail, you're right. This movie is much bigger. It's got $500,000 more in its budget this time around, and at least it does feel bigger, and it does have more going for it in terms of drawing things out. Like, think about the simple fact that we actually have like a bunch of adults that we can kill off one by one, right? Rather than killing them all off at the start and then like we have nothing going on, right? And we're talking about this Micah character who's now this Isaac version. I think he just kind of reads as somebody's shitty son.
He's
And
like
I think
he's
that
like a little snotty brat.
yeah, and I think that, like, on that level it works, but then also, like, he doesn't have the same kind of presence as Isaac, so I don't like I'm never as afraid of him. There's a lot of corny, pun intended, elements that I appreciate about this movie, but if we're talking about, like, a competent film, the first one is technically a more competent film, and this one is, like, a much messier, much, like, accident-prone film. It's like somebody making their idea of what a movie should be rather than a successful movie. And I do like some of the swings. And then there are certain other swings that are just, detestable.
Baffling.
But yeah. Yeah, my general thoughts on this movie are it's getting slightly worse.
Slightly.
Slightly worse.
What about you, Doug? What do you think about the final sacrifice?
I mean, I think this is a masterpiece. No, it's. I wasn't as bored during as I was during the first one. So for me, that's an improvement. Like, yeah, I agree with Tony. Like, technically, the first one is like better made, but there's like a schlockiness to this one that's like endearing, even if the movie overall is a mess. So like just like how silly some of the kills are, and I think yeah, at least a couple of those are intentionally being played for laughs. Like so like and that also points for yeah, none of the humor worked in the first one, so at least there's like something that I can like be laughing at here, whether it's with or at the movie. And yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about Micah. I think I'm projecting a read onto it that I don't think was planned, but I feel like there's some kind of closeted like subtext with his how his character comes across.
Are you saying this is the Freddy's Revenge of the Children of the Corn series? I can see it because
Yeah, maybe.
there's a part in the climax where it's like, oh, okay, I see who Danny is.
Well, hold on now. We didn't get any sequence of him like cleaning up his room and like closing a drawer with his butt while dancing.
Okay, well, that's the difference between like someone Masterpiece and Children of Corn 2.
Right. Thank you for reminding me. You're right, Elvis. Sorry. You're right.
Well, he's from a much more repressed culture, so like that's
right.
He doesn't know how to express it except become a violent cult leader.
We don't know if he's ever even heard music.
Yeah, he said his dad beat him for listening to music. I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Wait, but I mentioned this a couple of times last week. I thought this was one of the worst things I've ever seen. I don't think that. I think maybe I was in the bad mindset when I watched it last, because this time it went down a lot more smoothly. Although I still think it's really, really bad. There's a lot more here that I ended up enjoying. Like you guys are talking about, it's a really goofy watch. I think what's missing most for me is that while the first one was really boring and empty, There's a mood behind it, at least a little bit. There's
Yes.
the idea of like the empty town is a lot more interesting to look at, to kind of explore, even if like the tension and suspense wasn't there. It's a lot more kind of vital to go around. Some of the set pieces there really fed into that, even though they were very sparse. This is like this is goofball schlock town. From jump one, it feels a lot more generic, and then just like, well, Dad, you don't understand, bub. I gotta be free. This is almost the mid '90s,
Mhm.
shit like that. you know.
This movie's a
Um,
lot busier, right? Like there's a lot more characters, there's a lot more interpersonal dynamics going on.
There's
It's
two
trying to
romance subplots.
there's a lot of
insanity,
banging.
right? And the main thing that I hold against this movie is that while I criticized the first movie for this because I felt that the Isaac and Malachi stuff didn't really like land as much as that it was
The adult
supposed
stuff
to.
missing here, yeah.
Yes, and also the politicking, right? Because like in the first film, we got this whole power struggle between these two people who are trying to vie for control, and in this time, we've got this new guy who's just kind of like, and now I'm here to do it, and it's like, well, who made you king, right? Like, and that the movie is kind of playing with that as well, and then also on the other hand, there's like a secret adult society that's like doing things, and I think that like these are ideas that in better hands would maybe make a more exciting film, but in these hands and under these circumstances it just is schlock, and it
Yeah,
doesn't need to be anything else really, but
true. And that's what's so shocking to me is that the adult stuff, the whole conspiracy, and we'll get into that in a bit. The whole conspiracy and like small town secrets and business, feeding down on the little man stuff. I love that stuff. Every time, like once it started getting full of stuff, I'm like, yes, this is so dumb. And what's it even doing in a children's horror movie? And why is it trying to imply that this is all like scientifically based? We see like a guy's head explode. What are we doing here? It makes no sense, but I enjoy it, and it's a good reprieve. I don't want to see any more of like Danny and his little, oh, we're gonna do some Blue Lagoon shit at the waterfall. I don't need any of that stuff. I can get it. Um, and so it's the opposite problem where the adult stuff to me was a lot more interesting, not more entertaining. I don't want to say interesting. It was more entertaining than
well,
the than the kid stuff.
when you've got them like literally like tied down to a pole and they're like, oh, we're gonna get you, like that
Yeah,
stuff's funny,
a metal
right?
pole
Like
because they wanted the lightning to strike it. It's so
I mean, it's watching this movie, you get the impression that there were several different like ideas in there, each of which could have made an interesting film in and of itself, but then they just all kind of got thrown into a blender, and they just don't work together. I mean, for me, like there's an interesting like I can see a potential movie in this, coming out of this film about like a guy who falls in with a cult, like a cult that hates adults, that sort of considers like all adults like to be corrupt and everything, and the whole movie could be about this process of slowly, breaking down like this guy's like will and becoming, like corrupting him and whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that by the end, it's like maybe he's like ready to sacrifice his own father, or whatever, for his new
so.
family that he found.
You know what, Michael? You're
Yeah.
describing Sinister too.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
unfortunately you
We should-
are.
I
Yeah.
I have
I
not
ne-
seen it. I have not seen the
I never
first.
saw the second one.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, Sinister 2 is the better one because it actually
I
has
disagree.
actually no dumb Ethan Hawke went, oh my god, I got zoom Vincent D'Onofrio. None of that bullshit.
Wait,
Yeah,
is that the one with
everything
Bagul
out-
or something?
Bagul.
You got
Okay,
a Bagul
Bagul.
problem.
Everything outside of the home movies in the first Sinister was kind of underwhelming because it's like, oh yeah, Ethan Hawke was really seeing these videos for the first time. It was like genuine react. I'm like, okay, but the videos themselves speak for themselves. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
like, yeah.
So the Sinister 2 I thought was a lot better because like we're gonna do some random bullshit. It's gonna be a lot more goofball like this. We're gonna do a lot more goofball about it. And like, you know what? It's not insulting to me at this point. Like this is much better than that first one. It was like, because there's a part of the first one, I was like, the first one is so serious, intense. But then there's the part where like the ghosts are breakdancing around Ethan Hawke while he walks through because you can't see him. So it's like
They're playing like tag or something or freeze tag.
and they're like just jumping around the walls. Like it's so fucking stupid.
the best thing I'll say about Sinister 2 is that they keep the Boards of Canada music, and like that's the best decision they could have made with that movie. But the one thing I wanted to get out about this movie before we get into the plot itself, right? So the circumstances in which this film was made, right? This movie was so New World Pictures, it went under, and the rights were sold off to a different company. I think I've got them pulled up somewhere. Where do I have it pulled up? I lost it. But the company that made this movie essentially bought the rights to Children of the Corn and Hellraiser. And what they did was they moved the shooting location from Iowa to North Carolina, right? And they shot both this movie and Hellraiser 3 back to back. It's the same crew that made both films, and they just like went through both of them on the cheap. So if we ever have any issues in terms of like, why isn't this working or all that stuff, it's because they're not making one movie, they're making two movies.
You can tell which one they put they budgeted more accurately.
Exactly.
Like this. Oh my God, that makes a lot more sense though, because they have the same ending, more or less.
It's been a while since I've seen Hellraiser 3, so
I've only seen the first two and then the remake, so I haven't seen Hellraiser 3.
Not really, but not that they have the same ending. They're very similar in spirit. Anyway, so that's really interesting because, it kind of feels like someone just going out of it fresh, and it feels like almost like a reboot. Like let's start from point one. Let's have the kids congregate. Let's have someone falling into the fold. It's like let's start back. And so I think that's part of what makes it a lot less interesting, because it doesn't allow the kids to go, let's start from the start. Let's start from the top. Okay. It begins almost right after the first one ended, right? The kids have been stopped, and the adults have been, the cops and everyone has been reported. Vicky and Bert, they're off with their kidnapped children, getting new social security numbers from the black market, whatever they're doing. So everyone else has been like, oh my God, all these kids killed all these people. And so the kids are being like sent over to foster homes. And one of them is like, we gotta kill all these kids. They're like disgusting and evil and they're satanic. And they're like, you're so stupid, old lady. We gotta get these kids help. And in the entire movie, they don't get any help.
The old lady was great. I loved her.
No, she's great because she is saying, and everyone's like poo-poo, like, so we gotta destroy these kids. They're hopeless. They're inherently evil, and like, but we gotta get these kids, help, assistance.
She's like the new gas attendant,
Yes,
like
exactly. But it's like, that would be interesting. Like you mentioned, Mikhail, there's an idea here. Like, what do we do after these kids are found? Like there could be a movie where like they're trying to get like, counseling. You see, like kind of a Rob Zombie Halloween, in the middle of that, where he's getting like, assistance as a kid from Dr. Loomis, something like that. We develop them, but no.
Or Andy Machete's mama, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Or maybe, like actually send them to some sort of, I don't know, detention facility at least until you have, like investigated like this whole thing and figured out like,
something more psychological, what's the profile of these kids, like what makes them tick, something that and maybe have it be like, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, not 2, but 3, like, okay, now we're seeing this from a different point of view. But no,
that's the unfortunate part, right? Is that it's taking this like it needs to kind of do the first movie again, and then what it ends up doing is that it just does Season of the Witch again. This movie is structurally Season of the Witch still, and like the good thing about this idea, Mikhail, that you're bringing up, this idea of having separating the children from this location, right? If we put them in a psych ward instead, then we have it so it's like, budget goes way down, like that. You don't need to worry about all that stuff. It's just interiors, right? And you don't need to have them be in these cornfields, right? The cornfields are only really there because it's in the title. So it's like,
they're of the corn. They're not in the corn. They're of the corn. Exactly. Not in the corn.
No, we need the corn. The corn should start growing in the like psych ward, like when they're there.
Yes.
That would be cool.
You've got it, Doug.
Like out of the walls. Yeah, no, this is great.
Yeah,
better
or somebody,
movie.
Or somebody somehow, like got like corn crops secretly planted like all over or whatever, No, I definitely think that's an idea. I'm just like really like the whole setup of it baffles me because you have this whole thing of all of these kids killed their parents, so let's take them in without any adult supervision or police presence or whatever, and like let them do whatever the hell they want.
They're running wild. They're like
They
going
just
around.
have a line of like, "Oh, the ones who were responsible are dead." So I guess that's what they said. So I guess these kids are fine.
I guess. I mean, but like, how do they even know that? I mean, like,
I mean,
is the
Rachel
idea
wasn't
that
fine. She's trying to
yeah,
kill Bert and Vicky at the end of the movie. So unless
no,
they shot Rachel in the face in the meantime, then no.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess, but like, really, it's kind of like the movie itself doesn't seem to be like aware of what exactly. Like, I mean, because the way that it's set up, right? Everybody knows that the kids killed their parents, right? And what do? They bring them to this neighbor town, and they leave them to their own devices. And every time a murder happens, they're just like, oh, and the kids are nearby. They're just like, oh, well, like, okay, how could the kids have done that or something? But it's so to me it's just kind of like, well, wait a minute, you all know what, like, that they were there, that what they're capable of, like, these are, probably psychologically why the hell would you just bring them over to this other town with no supervision whatsoever? And then it's like the main character is, oh, well, hey, do you know what happened? Did you see what happened? I mean, why do we need it? Why is that happening when everybody knows what happened? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
For
like,
sure.
yeah, do you know what happened? I saw the corn.
This movie has a big problem because there is this whole like secret adult society that's like trying to do nefarious things. This movie is trying to do like this whole thing where like the adults are the villains too, right? And what it should have done
Yeah.
is it should have leaned on commentary. It should have been like, okay, so these kids are killing again. Why isn't this about like parents who aren't doing an appropriate job parenting? Why aren't we analyzing the reasons why the parents let the kids kill in the first place? Like how they had no idea that this was going to happen. Instead, it's all based around like, okay, how do we put these people in circumstances where they can get killed? It's that slasher movie brain, right? It has nothing to do with like what this
Yes.
could be saying. It has nothing to do about like the scenario that it's in. It's like, okay, we know we need to be around cornfields. We know we have to be around, have a bunch of kids. How are we going to do all that stuff? And the best thing I'll say about all of the adult stuff and the kids stuff is that all the stuff does still feel very Stephen King adaptation, in the sense that it's very corny, it's very cheesy, and I'm laughing when the stuff is happening.
Very Native
And
American.
and Red Bear's there. That makes you feel Stephen
Oh,
King.
we'll get to Red Bear for sure. For sure, you're right.
Yes, dear Frank Red Bear, amen.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Is Red Bear worse or better than Creepshow 2?
oh my God, stop it! Better, because he becomes a god at the end of this movie, so he's not evil, and there's no brown face. I don't think.
Right, that's true. You're right.
Yeah, he seemed like he was legit. I don't know. I didn't look up the actor.
I looked up the actor. He's legit. So that's good. And he's very stoic. I like him. He's got a good mug. Anyway, so you're right. No, it does feel like they feel tied to the place. And the thing what makes it again a lot more chintzy than the first is that while in the first you see like gaggles of kids everywhere, in this movie, unless they're in the cornfield, the kids pretty much fucking disappear unless you're Micah. You know, and like that makes it feel it's a lot more expansive, but also makes it feel a lot more enclosed because like we don't even get to see like even a montage of these other kids with their other foster family, you know, at all.
It's the same problem that we have now with having the adults also be the villains, is that the attention is split, right? And every time we have like the creepy kids, it's either like the main guy or it's like the same group of 6 children just standing in a group just looking at something that's happening, right? And all of the mystique that was in the first movie was like, here's this bear in town and then just a bunch of kids. Like, just that image alone is creepy. That makes that first movie work when it's like that, right? In this movie, it feels like an ordinary small town. It doesn't feel as creepy or as inherently off kilter as the first movie does.
I mean,
100%.
I think what's interesting is that this really feels more in the more like traditional slasher style. Like, you need to have like 3 big, relatively self-contained episodic murder scenes. You know what I'm saying? And those murder
Sure.
scenes basically like have nothing to really do with anything else. Like, it's just very loosely tied, like tied together,
First one is
right?
so egregious because it never comes back, and you think that'd be like a big turning point like the other guy's like, oh my god, that's my colleague. No, and it never tie that to anything. Which it's out of nowhere and it's so goofy.
The corn cobs flying through the front window.
Or the guy being like, "Oh, the wind." Meanwhile, like little drawn lightning bolts surround him. Is he meant to be feeling that? Was that like meant? Did the actor know he was also being electrocuted?
Oh, okay. Well, we also got to talk about like He Who Walks Behind the Rose, like having predator vision this time.
Yes, exactly. I was
predator vision plus like the Evil Dead cam, like, but not as crazy or interesting.
Yeah, because the predator vision is inconsistent. It's like around the edges, it'll be like really washed out and like neon. But like whenever he wants to see something, it's like crystal clear in the middle. It's so stupid. Go for it or don't.
I just like that you can actually see the corn in the predator vision. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. I also want to say, like, the first time I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, they're totally ripping off, they're totally doing predator vision with He Who Walks Behind the Rose now, and which is interesting because that would imply that now He Who Walks Behind the Rose actually does kind of have a physical presence because he's moving through the corn rather than kind of being the corn, I guess, or being underground.
Yeah, we saw something move underground, but we still this one doesn't. I mean, we'll get to the end when we get to it, but like we still don't get like a full on like monster in this. So like I think the POV is their way of working around that. Of like, okay, well, it's a physical presence now, but we're not going to show it.
Yeah, and it has a sense of humor. You
can feel it trying to like stay internally consistent with the first film. I feel like that's why they don't show you like a creature, but you can also feel like the filmmakers like know that they're being restrained by not being able to have a creature. And there are moments where they try to like cheat a little bit, and we'll get there when we get there. But like these are a group of filmmakers who are like, oh, we want to make sure we don't upset the Children of the Corn people, but then we also want to make a fun film, and they don't know how to strike that right balance.
I mean, 100% correct.
Honestly, I'm just like thinking about that whole, like murder of those two news people, and I'm just like thinking, like, why? Even when they discover the corpses, like I think over an hour later, it's like such a non-event, I mean, I'm just like, and it's very random too in the way that it almost. I mean,
they're just driving through corn, like they're you see them driving away after they meet the main character and the dad, and then they're just in a cornfield.
Right. What purpose does it serve? Because it's not like the He Walks Behind the Rose is trying to keep it secret. The world knows.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think that the way that it's in this film, like I you know what I think this is? I think this is like it read really well on the page. I think that like if you're reading this and it's like, oh no, and they're driving away and like they get caught up in the corn
because the corn keeps shifting,
right? Like on paper, like that sounds like something that would be in a Stephen King novel, but on screen in broad daylight, it looks silly. It just is. It doesn't work, right?
Oh, okay.
But this is a slasher, and one of them's black, so he has to die.
But you bring it up. But you bring up a good point, because again, too much fucking shit is said at daytime. This again, and
yes,
it's not an excuse this time because almost all these kids are like in their 20s. All right, so it's ridiculous that we're doing this again. It's not scary when it's in like the day, because like there's one part like, oh, we're gonna fucking play with an RC car in the middle of the street.
I love that kill.
That's like the best kill in the movie.
That was like a funny kill, because like when the lady flies into the into like that shop, the guy's still bingo. I was wondering, wait, so that has to be a deliberate joke.
It's being played as a gag. I think also the doctor kill is a gag too, because they put a fucking lollipop in his mouth.
Okay, we're talking about gag deaths. Then I was like, I was thrown off kilter immediately during the Wizard of Oz parody kill.
Yes.
Oh my god. Incredible. They just press the lower house button and it takes her out.
She has that great line where she's like, I'm going to move this house with me, right? And you're like, oh, she's just being ridiculous. And then she does that, right?
Yeah, right. But also she's like, what a world. What a world. Like,
yeah, she literally says the line.
Like, good God, man. What what was the point and purpose of this?
I can 2 words: Freddy Krueger. That's what they're trying to do here, right? They're trying to like make it like kind of comedic as well as horror, because like that was its own lane in this period, right? Like having
Prime
that
time, bitch.
Yeah,
right?
overly referential. Yeah, I definitely see it.
Mhm.
I
But
missed that. I did not get it, but like, okay, I get it now.
What about we haven't talked about the opening of the film being kind of in the perspective of the camera, kind of quasi meaning that this movie has a bit of found footage at the start.
yes, exactly. It
Very
feels
strange.
it feels very cinema verite at the beginning of this movie.
Very odd choice to do that. And then we haven't even talked about our main 2 leads,
Do we
the
have
father
to?
and son. We have to. We do
The
have
most
to, right?
interesting guys around. Yeah, let's
The
talk about.
The one who looks like Fred Flintstone came to life, Rocky and Bullwinkle style.
Does your mother teach you to talk like that? Only when your name comes up, just like classic, like thud, thud, thud. This is the backstory.
Yeah,
Like every
This
line
was
is like
Stephen
that.
King. I thought he was gonna like beat him then when he said that. It's like, yeah, like, mother teach you talk like that. Flap.
I thought he was gonna backhand him. Yeah. Okay, but I want to pull up this guy because he's like, prior to pursuing a career as an actor, Terrence Knox works as a substitute teacher. You know what? I believe it.
He has substitute teacher vibes.
This
Nobody
guy's
wants
a
him
teacher.
there.
I was about to call him before I even looked it up. I was like, you said Fred Flintstone. I was gonna say Bizarro, Treat Williams.
Yes.
Treat Williams was the substitute.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh man, but no, he's okay. So let's talk about him. They're John and Danny. They didn't give a shit about these names right in the script, but John and Danny. Is Danny the most overused '90s kid name?
Maybe.
Well, hold on. They had to name him Danny, right? Because Danny is from The Shining.
Oh, you're right.
And he's the son. He's like the son of a writer.
Oh my God! This is the best Stephen King movie ever made.
I wonder if Stephen King feels the same way.
He probably does after a couple of beers and lines.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? After all these years, after I got Life of Chuck out of my system, I'm glad that I can reflect on Children of the Corn too.
Final sacrifice, the final sacrifice. Anyway, so John and Danny, their father and son relationship is on the rocks, and they're introduced in the most this is the most tone-setting scene in the movie because in the beginning it's very kind of eerie. There's like as you mentioned, we start from POV to camera, so we're in a darkness and abyss, and then the light opens up. It's a cellar, so we're seeing the light open up in the distance, and then everyone comes down, seeing all these dead bodies. It's kind of effective, and then we get like the little, oh man, the street, oh my God, we're seeing all these bodies. It's in this town. It's news. Like finally, it feels kind of like a Blair Witch 2, we're stepping outside of the movie a little bit. And then smash cut to father and son on a road trip sniping at each other, the most generic ass lines. And it's ridiculous.
Before we cut to them, I like how the one newscaster is interviewing the kids, and then they keep bringing up of like they went into the corn or something, and
I
he's like,
saw the corn.
And he's like, cut. He's like, what's with all this corn shit?
I'm glad he lived because he was clearly the most sensible guy. Of the 3 reporters, he was the most sensible one. But yes, let's see here. So Danny and Johnny, they are. This is like Ed O'Neill, Dutch all over again, except they're both old.
They're doing Halloween 3 Season of the Witch again, where it's going to be like, they're trying to solve a mystery, and like, there's going to be a part where like one of them goes off on their own and we have to question their allegiances and all that stuff. And the problem here is that like we don't really buy their troubled relationship, and for the majority of the film they're apart. Like their arcs are separate, so like we don't really feel like their relationship gets mended because ultimately we spent so much time with them separated going through their own
Did they
thing.
really have arcs though? I mean, I'm just like,
I want to push back a little bit because Danny was sneaking out to me. His girlfriend is like, wait a minute, my dad's laying pipe. Good work. And then like, boom, instant resolution. You're like, I can respect my dad. He has, now
I'll
here
concede, Elvis. You're right. That is a moment of growth.
he earned his respect. Okay.
See, I read the scene of him seeing his dad with the woman as like because he quotes Micah as like he was sitting most vigorously. I was like, oh,
Yes.
Micah's is getting to him now or something. Like
Really?
I mean,
But he was smiling and laughing. He was like, "Yeah, man, he's cool. He's a rebel, for banging a chick. It's the most natural thing you could do." Wait a
I
minute.
mean, you think he'd feel some loyalty to his mom?
The mom's getting married to a shithead, apparently. Shithead Sherman. God, I hate this movie.
No, but I'm just like I feel that this movie's characters literally have no development. I mean, they just kind of get involved in these things where stuff just kind of happens. Oh, so he meets a girl, and boom, they're like a couple. Like
you
one
want
scene later,
Well,
the most insane
No,
part
you
of
have
that.
to spy on her like bathing, and then you become a couple. That's how it works in
Okay,
the 80s,
yeah.
early 90s.
Or you can just say, you know what? It's a pretty nice view out here. And like, yes, bam! They're just fucking.
what,
I
what's
know,
the
right?
Jennifer Connelly movie where she's like in a mall, like she's in a Target with that guy that's always used in like music videos online, with like indie songs. You know what I'm talking about? The one where it's like Jennifer Connelly in a Target.
Oh,
You
that's
guys know
not
the movie?
video. That's not some career opportunities.
Career
Right.
opportunities, but it's always used in like like people make montages to that because like
yes,
Jennifer Connelly's always it, right?
Yes, exactly.
And
She's on the motorboat.
and this movie is very similar where she's just like this character kind of rides in lowest cut shirt you can imagine, like a tank top. Hello, I'm your romantic interest. You ordered, like that's what her register, like her whole thing in this film is.
She has wearing a shirt, and the shirt is like really low cut. And in fact, it's so low cut, but that kind of ruins the purpose of the shirt. 'Cause the shirt is for her business, which is a bed and breakfast. So it has a big slogan on the top that says, "You want to sleep with me?" And then it's like bed and breakfast. But like the bed and breakfast part, because it's so low cut, and she's tucking it into her jeans, it's almost cut off. So it's like, what the fuck is wrong with these people in this custom department?
I have to say that what was more surprising to me there is that it's apparently like a legitimately good hotel, and like and a room for two people is only $30 a night. Like that is a very good price. I don't know if those were 90s prices or whatever, but that sounds like
yeah,
a
with
steal.
inflation, like isn't that like 200 a night or something? I don't know.
Oh, but yeah, but seriously, like it amazes me how so much stuff here just seems to kind of like happen with no real uh legitimate progression. I mean, I think the most that we get is Danny and Micah, and even there, it's kind of like, wait, why is he interested in this cult or whatever? Does he even know that this is a cult? Like we don't see like any organic development, or we don't get like enough scenes to actually sell any of that.
It's so rushed. All of it's so rushed. Like in a better movie, right? Like we would actually buy that he's toying with that idea, and really like the kid is like, I'm saying, like the protagonist kid, like he's somebody who's just lashing out in a momentary like, oh, my dad kind of sucks kind of thing. I don't buy that he's ever going to become murderous. I like he's a part of the football team. Like the way I look at him, right? Like he's not that kind of guy. But
that's why they should have leaned into it being like an actual seduction. And by the way, this love interest, she was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, so that's feeding my theory.
I'm about to bring it up. She played like little sister in that. It's so good. But
man, we should be talking about that movie.
we should.
It's interesting though, because from what I understand, the idea with this Tracy character was that she was originally Gatlin. She was apparently one of the original children of the Corn, or something. So like they cut like a part of the. Like that whole scene like where they find like more of those bodies or whatever, apparently there was a reveal there that she actually wasn't Gatlin when all the murders happened, and that's how Micah knows her. Like he knows her name. Like because Daniel like asked him, hey, do you know who that girl is? Oh yeah, that's Tracy or something. I was wondering initially, wait a minute, how would he even know her? How does it? Oh wait, so she was originally like somebody who wasn't Gatlin. Her parents died, and then like she quickly fled to her aunt in Hemingford. or whatever. I'm just like thinking about, talking about the whole seduction thing. And it's like, well, if she was a member of this cult and she was trying to get this guy into it, like that would have been a more interesting movie.
For sure. And what you're talking about, this being cut out, right? That's them being cowardly, right? Like they were worried that you would be like too suspicious of her. Like the way that she functions in the film now, you don't really ever have a question of whether or not she's going to be a romantic interest. A better movie would have teased that out and made it more of a question. There would have been some mystery there, right? Maybe maybe the father would have tried to intervene and he'd be like, "You don't understand, Dad. I gotta be with her." And maybe that pushes him more towards the guy, right? Like all of this makes a better movie, but the reason that it didn't take those steps is because they simply didn't have enough time or energy to think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much going on. Go, Doug.
They just throw in a line of like, she says like, I was in their class or something like that. That's their solve for like, instead of having her be there for the murders. And then she says like, my parents died. And then there's a part where Danny's like, oh, do you mean? And she's like, no, I think, did she say car accident? I'm already forgetting. I just watched the movie,
she
but
said it's a car accident. I went to school with them, Oh yeah, no, they died in the car accident.
But this is an easy fix because, and if you can tell, this is why you can tell this is how the script was so fucking lazy, because fucking the woman who died, what's her face? The by the house, the Wizard of Oz, that woman, right? Ruby Burke, right? She has the exact same fucking backstory. Like, oh, I was a school teacher in Gatlin, and then I moved away. Just have to be like her grandmother or something. And then you have a connection there. You can play with both characters a little bit more. And when you kill her, it's like it becomes drama. Like, oh my god, they killed my grandmother died, and I think it was them. And Dad's like, no, but he's my best friend. You do over the hand stuff. Like, no, and that's it. It's so simple. But no, we have these two characters that are not connected. That we don't have the exact same backstory of knowing the kids before. It's a school-related thing. And everything's too disparate. There's no connective tissue that makes it feel interesting to kind of immerse yourself with. It feels like 3 different movies.
For sure. It has so many of these ideas, right? That it could become instantly more tension filled by going in any of these directions. But because they don't, and because they go with the, least tension filled option every time, it starts to feel more like a hangout movie than a mystery. And that's a real problem here, is that like all of the discoveries and stuff, it feels like they come to our leads rather than them discovering that. Again, another point to the first film, at least these people were wandering around places and stumbled into things, This time it's like even less than that. It's like they hear something happened and they run to it,
I mean, to me, it's a lateral move because, yeah, they wandered around town in the first one, but it was stuff we already knew, so there was no discovery. Like there was no build up to like just learning what was happening in that one either. It's just done in a different dumb way in this one.
I mean, the only benefit to having them wander around town the first one is that you could see the abandoned town that had its own kind of charm to it. And this, there's just no. It feels so generic. If you got rid of all the scenes, of all the kids, children at corn doing the murders, it would feel like a Hallmark movie. That's it. Like there's nothing interesting visually going on here. It feels so generic and dull, and it'd be like an episode of Yellowstone, all the Native American shit.
I guess we gotta just talk about it now, right?
Like,
Red Bear.
Character find of the year. Okay, so his name is, let's see here. I want to get it
Frank Red Bear.
Dr. Frank Red Bear. He's a doctor. Okay, and also a god.
Anthropology.
And also, he's and yes, so Frank Red Bear is the most Stephen King character that Stephen King did not create, because he comes out of nowhere, and he's like, I know exactly what's going on. Let me tell you 20 minutes of Native American legends, and also we're going to be on an adventure together. And then he's going to do a chant and then sacrifice himself. And then turns out that he's now a nature spirit who's gonna guard Gatlin forever. And it is amazing. I love him.
I'm gonna be so pissed if they don't bring him back in the sequels. Like, hanging my hat on that. Like, this is like where the franchise needs to go.
We got the Flopper Legacy sequel. You got to bring Frank Red Bear back.
Like the issue with this movie is that like you're introduced to Frank Red Bear, and he's just like a guy who works at the school, right, the university, right. And if it was just like, here's this guy who knows about the land in these ways and he can kind of give us some exposition, it's not great, but it's something, like he's at least there and it's not the worst thing in the world. It's the fact that it starts like trending more and more steadily into Native American trope, to the point where when he is fully in wearing the American regalia in the spirit world, and he's like soundtracked by wind chimes, like this is some like old school racism. This is like the
Because
Italian
initially
guy.
he's just a guy, because
Yeah, exactly.
his vibe at the school is kind of like, yeah, I know some things, but then when he's like, how did you know all about me? He's like, yeah, it's a small town. Like you left your wallet in the car. So
He's fun, I mean, that initial sequence of the initial introduction to him, it's like suddenly the movie really does get more engaging. I mean, yeah, like all of the way that they bring up all of that, all of the Native American stuff eventually is just, yeah, it's very problematic. But the character himself, I mean, I feel like the movie just you sort of he kind of takes it over. He becomes the most interesting
he's a
person
star.
on screen. Yeah.
It's funny because as in weird taste, I won't say that, as everything about him is. Ned Romano is his name. Ned Romero is his name, right? He's actually giving like a really kind of graceful performance compared to everyone else in this movie.
That's
and
true.
I'm with it. I'm with him. I think he is knocking out the park. And then that's what makes the ending so much more like, what are we doing here? Because it just kind of drags him down into like cartoon tropes of shit. Like this is such a cliche, and he's like wearing a nice kind of plaid shirt and denim jeans, and he's just some guy, and it's like I like it because he's like a nice kind of like stable
He,
grounding force.
like
And
he's not into the mysticism, he's initially like somebody who is very much who seems to be very rational, right? Like he seems to
Yeah.
be, I mean, he's apparently a professor of anthropology, right? And like the
It's
moment
almost a subversion at first, because like he's presenting like a more grounded non supernatural explanation for some of the stuff, and
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
oh, that's
exactly.
interesting.
yeah, especially when they find that that whole they stumble upon that poisoned
Ergot.
corn conspiracy or whatever the hell that was about. I mean, so suddenly you get to say, wait a minute, so are the kids going insane because of the corn is poisoned? And
Mold
it's
is
like,
crazy, man. It can actually make you see shit. Like
Hey,
So
hey, look at J.K. Rowling.
they pointedly say it's ergot though, which is a common kind of common thing people cite as the reason for the Salem witch trials. Ergot. So
Interesting.
it's trying to loop that in, like, okay, but they looping this in like 40-50 minutes in the movie, like there's only like 20 minutes left without the credits. What are we doing here? Like, and it feels like it's trying to make me take it seriously too, like, well, no, man, this is way too late to be playing this kind of card. But
Yes. That's the problem, right? Is they're introducing all this at the end because they're trying to create another mythology, but they've already created a mythology for this world. So now it has this
we've
feeling
seen a
where it's
guy's
like
head explode.
exactly.
wait,
yeah,
did
we've
it
seen
explode?
too much for them to do this. It's kind of like a little bit, even though I like the movie Glass, it's the problem in that movie where half
Right.
the movie you're trying to convince them, like,
Oh,
you guys don't
okay.
have superpowers, and I'm like, I saw the
Okay,
movies.
okay,
No,
Doug,
no,
I'm sorry. See,
I disagree with that. I see a class.
No, I love Glass. I'm saying, but I never for a second when I'm watching that believe her trying to convince them that
okay,
it's not real.
Doug,
Okay, yeah,
but Doug, I'm sorry. I have to respond to that because I am a hardcore defender of Glass, and in my opinion, that is that's not sort of like the right way to read that scene, because the whole idea of the movie is that belief is what gives you powers. Like literally, if you stop, the whole idea behind it is that if you take away, if you instill
Okay, so
doubt.
like what Mikhail is trying to say is that you're not trying to convince us, you're trying to convince them.
Yes. It's not about convincing the audience like ever. It's all about convincing the characters that they are only normal. And if you convince them they're only normal, that'll literally take all of their powers away. Like that's the idea of that of what Staple is doing there.
But anyway, the poison corn is so gross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mold is gross, man.
And then we're gonna like we're gonna cut it with regular corn and sell it on the market. And don't worry, we're gonna get our little taste in too. Like what the fuck is wrong with this shit? I watched an entire movie of this. Like this corn Breaking Bad, gotta step on it,
And apparently that's why the kids actually want to murder everybody, because they poisoned the corn and they did a bad thing to the land, so it's a whole environmentalist thing now.
So is he walking on the corn a demon or a Native American demon?
See that they're playing with
God?
that. They're playing with that. Actually, they're trying, because the whole Christian theology thing from the first movie is now the question that this movie is presenting is is that just what they perceived because of their own upbringing, or is it something different, right? And I think that there's an interesting level to that, but I don't think that the film actually has the wherewithal to actually follow through on that commentary. The whole corn stuff, like the corn being infected with things, as you guys pointed out, this is an ecological film at this point when it's doing that stuff. If it wanted to be an ecological, environmentally conscious film, it should have leaned more into that, because that was when the movie was at its goofiest and at its funniest, and I was enjoying it. But when it starts to move more into this theology thing, it's when this movie's at its most ignorant.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because there's some merit to the ideas it's bringing up when it's talking about things like, but why would the government allow this? Because it's trying, don't you see government regulations going down? They don't care about anyone but money. Like, oh my God, it should be what the entire movie's about. But no, we gotta have wind chimes and feathers.
I want to just talk a little bit about He Who Walks Behind the Rose. I found it interesting here how the second film tries to reposition this whole being. Like, my take based on the first movie was that it's like an evil pagan deity. It's not exactly it's an evil god. It's not exactly a demon, but it's a god. It's like a perversion of Christianity. It's like something pagan, something ancient, something wholly evil. Here, the idea seems to be a bit more like, well, maybe it's like an ancient spirit, not exactly a god, but some sort of spirit that apparently is angered by the corruption of the land, right?
Some spirit of the earth that wants revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's important to note that an evil spirit will take the form of whatever the people who are perceiving it will need in order for it to get its ends met, right? And that's where the theology crossing could have been interesting, but instead it feels muddled.
They never really managed to explore it all that much. I feel it's
a cool concept, like ecological revenge horror. I'm kind of for it if it was fleshed out.
I've seen it in different places done well. So yeah, no, I'm totally with that. The entire thing, what are we doing to the earth, and it's revenge happening. Let's bring it back to M. Night. Happening.
Jeremy Strong should have been in here.
Right. Yeah.
What's this? The toxins? From the corn? Well, if we're going to talk about shitty things in relation to The Happening, can we talk about the computer digital effects in this film?
What are you talking about?
The light. He becomes Highlander at the end when he has the machete and he's like the lightning's pulsing around Micah. I was like, I put on the wrong movie. This is one of the Highlander sequels.
It definitely looked
when the face explodes.
Looked like Highlander. It looked like a quickening scene.
I was like, oh, he's an immortal. Cool.
But here's the thing. I believe that those that wasn't even CG. I think that was when they used to draw those.
He can just do that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was also referring to the sequence where Micah was
going
through hell, and we got a lawnmower man sequence.
Right.
Okay, so wait a second. Are you talking about that scene where he kind of falls into another dimension?
Yep, and we get those orbs that I guess it's the idea that he's being infected is what they're trying to show us.
Okay, so I actually didn't see that on Pluto. I watched the so apparently there are actually two cuts of the movie, and that one is only supposed to Yeah, and that sequence of him actually being taken to another dimension and like I don't know, like he turns into molecules and gets like reconstructed or whatever. Like that's only in the extended American version.
Okay, I haven't seen that version then, because that was not my version I saw today either.
How
Yeah.
did I watch this? The TNT, like again, this was
You
the
don't- you
final
don't-
broadcast
It's the
on
TNT
Joe Bob
cut.
Briggs,
You-
and they had the extended
Yeah.
cut.
You-
Like
you
that's
know
so
why?
bizarre. to me.
American cut. The
You-
international version, which I saw, and again, which is on Pluto TV for some reason, it doesn't like you only ever see he who walks behind the rose. Like he kind of like chases him. Micah falls down. You know, you
Yes.
see it through and then it's like next thing you know, he shows up and he has those black eyes, right?
So
You know why?
Have you guys seen that sequence?
No, I watched it on Daily Motion, and yeah, it's just the Predator vision. He
Lightning
chases
zaps.
him, and then
Yes.
it cuts, and then Micah's back with the
Oh.
possessed. Yeah, so
Yes,
I have not
So-
seen that.
How would you say was that version any good then?
Well, like it's worth seeing because like it's just the actor on a green screen and wires, and he's just like floating through cyberspace, and he's going ah. And it's really
I'm
funny.
gonna look it up right now. Well, you guys
It's
continue.
on movie censorship. If you check Children of the Corn 2 on movie censorship, they have pictures of it at least.
It really does look like something out of Lawnmower Man. It looks like the cover of Johnny Mnemonic. Like it's like really.
Oh my
If you-
god!
Yeah,
guy.
just YouTube Micah's transformation, Children of the Corn 2.
Yes, I've seen it. Oh my god! This movie is a masterpiece now.
Yeah, this like his face starts breaking apart. This is like Dr. Manhattan.
It's like Spawn, you know?
Yeah, no, that's right. You're right, Elvis.
Wanda!
This is total Spawn energy in this movie.
Oh my! This is amazing. This is the best. This is the best day I've seen in my life. I need to take an edible and watch this.
See,
was
you thought this was
great.
going to be the worst one.
That was awesome.
This
Why did they cut that?
Wait. So does that mean? So I'm presumably watching a Blu-ray rip. Does this mean that this scene doesn't exist on any of the fucking Blu-rays?
From what I understand, they included both cuts of the movie on the I think like an Arrow Video Blu-ray. So yeah, there should be two cuts there, and this is supposedly the American cut. From what I've read, it looks like the director got a bit more money for the American cut, so they were able to just go and like finalize this sequence.
Okay, but I will say though, it makes no sense considering the end of the movie. But we'll get to that shit later. But
Well, then the movie already doesn't make sense, so you know, whatever. Let's just
talking
have a
about?
cool visual.
I'll go so far to say that this movie doesn't make any sense. This movie is a bunch of bullshit. Like,
Everyone sees that guy's head explode, and then like they see the Michael leave, and he throws down a voodoo doll. Like, oh, I guess nothing. And it says voodoo doll.
Oh, that was weird. Anyway,
Wait, but did his head actually explode? I thought it was more like it kept
was-
bleeding and bleeding
spraying.
until
They didn't explode, but it was spraying everywhere. Okay,
right.
like this is not normal death. It was definitely trying to riff on Witches of Eastwick kind of thing.
right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was waiting for Micah to cut off the voodoo doll's head or something, or for like the head to like fully pop. But that was still a fun kill. I mean, at least there are kills in this. You know, like there's none of that happens in one.
What are you talking about? You know, Bert just spit slaps all these kids. You know,
Yeah.
What more could you want?
It has actual set pieces. You know, it has like these sequences that are kind of, even if they don't do anything for the plot, really, like they are meant to kind of stand out and like give people their money's worth.
See, but here's my main issue with the film. Actually, I think I found it right.
Mhm.
So the first movie, the thing I kept on saying on that episode was that movie felt like it was a horror movie for children, right?
Yeah.
Like baby's first horror movie. This movie is totally designed for an older audience in mind, but it doesn't have the juice to like actually work for an adult. I think that Children of the Corn, the first movie, still works being creepy for a kid, even if all the things that we've said, you know,
Are true
for
and accurate.
exactly. This movie, it's like, even if you're a kid, you're not going to like it. If you're watching this as an adult, you're not going to like it. At the end of the day, it's like, it has a bunch of ideas, but it doesn't have a cohesion to it.
I agree. 'Cause I think that's most my main part of it, because it has all these kills, and yes, it has more kills, and they're a lot more gnarly, and some of them are pretty, gross and pretty, well thought out. But the tone of the movie is so saccharine and sentimental. And it's like, oh, but will Danny and John, will their relationship mend? Will they both give up their girlfriends? And also Wizard of Oz parody, Gremlins, a little bit of Gremlins in here too. Like
There was
what?
Gremlins in there,
I'm
really?
talking when they killed the woman in the wheelchair. I'm gonna count that as a gremlin.
That feels like a little gremlinsy from that's the first one, right?
Oh,
And then with the moldy corn, it almost kind of reminds you of Troll 2.
Exactly. But what I mean is that so it feels so saccharine and sweet, and sentimental. There's no bite to it. There's no cynicism really. Like, even when the cop is laying out the entire conspiracy about, we're gonna feed the world's children our disgusting poison corn, and it's like, feels like a Captain Planet episode all of a sudden.
I like that when he's leaving his death trap for the dad and Red Bear, that they're like, why don't you just shoot us? And he's like, well, there'd be an investigation. I have to answer some questions. And it's like, this way, it's just a tragic accident. It doesn't make any sense. That's the brilliant part. That's the whole movie. It doesn't make any sense.
That's why it's brilliant. 3 out of 10 stars.
I hate to always bring him up all the time, but if you guys want an ecological horror film from this era, Larry Fessenden's No Telling is very reminiscent of the best parts of this film. Like when it comes to ecological horror and what all the long-reaching implications of all that stuff. No Telling is a great movie. This movie is not.
100%.
Does No Telling have Red Bear?
No, but it does. It does have a half dog, half calf creature.
Nice.
Sounds pretty good.
I have not heard of it, but it sounds interesting.
It's Frankenstein in the Midwest.
But yeah, I want to this movie again, and you're right. It comes the whole Danny thing, unless the alternate cut has more scenes, comes out of nowhere. He's like, well, Micah, did you help kill your dad? Like, well, let's just say accidents happen, Danny. Oh, no. Right? And then a scene later, he's like, Danny will perform our first sacrifice. And okay, I guess Danny's just here.
Okay, question about when they're in the field and they have the two kids. I think it's supposed to be a kid from Gatlin and then a kid from Hemmingford, right? Is that this town?
Yes.
And they're joining, they're doing a blood oath thing. But when he's talking about sowing the seeds so that they're pure, he's talking about the kids impregnating each other, right?
Yeah, I think so.
My idea, my understanding of it was more like they are literally going to create a new harvest. They're going to raise corn in the way that it's supposed to be, because remember, there's this whole idea of the adults poisoning the land. But also just thinking about that scene, I think the idea was that supposedly they got all of the Hemmingford kids to join them. I think that was supposed to be okay, we're one, all of the kids have now joined us, our army has grown, whatever, even though you never see any of that developed in the movie.
Right. The consistency of how big is this kid army kind of just fluctuates scene to scene. Yeah, the only reason I thought that was the seed, because I know that was a cut part of the first movie, and that's part of the short story of that's how the cult if no one lives past 19, how do you get more people? It's because they're fucking procreating with each other. So
gross. We don't want it. Not in the movies, it's just a weird thing that you don't want to have as a part of this, right? And for whatever reason, it keeps on being brought up in these films.
But I don't think they actually bring up the whole age of 19 thing anymore at all. I think there was from what I've read, there was a reference to that in the in the work print of this movie. So I think Mordecai or whatever started to doubt his position there or something, because he's I'd turn 19. Yeah.
Where's Rigby, man?
Yeah, but it's weirdly enough, but it's not a part of this film at all, really. Like the
Micah just
age thing.
has the one line where he's like, something happens when you turn 19, you become a thing or something. He says that to Danny. Like that's the only like
Oh,
explicit reference to 19.
We need
oh,
like
right.
pure-blooded children in this.
Yeah,
movie.
I guess it's like that's when you cross the threshold into adulthood, which is weird because I would think in the States it would be 21 or something.
Well, either 18 or 21, because 18 is like your child is an adult, and then 21 is like you can drink and you have all the like privileges of
Or
like
if you want to be just teens, then do 20.
right, because it literally has teen in the like title of the age, so I don't know.
Anyway, Danny's in this cult for some reason, but he's still trying to bang Lacey. It makes no sense because I think if he was in this cult, he'd be like, "Nah, I got."
It doesn't even feel like he's in the cult. He went to one meeting and he read a pamphlet. He was like, "That's interesting." Anyway, I have a girlfriend. I'm gonna have sex with in this field with hands.
Whomst amongst us hasn't gone to a prayer meeting to get some pussy? You know.
But she's not even with them, man. What's his whole deal? Danny has the most inconsistent character because at least the dad has goals. His first goal is to get a story, and his other first goal is to bang the bed and breakfast lady, and he does both. So he's a
Mission
hero.
accomplished.
It's funny. According to Wikipedia, she's Angela, right? Like that's supposed to be her name because
Angela Casual.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, Angela Casual?
Oh, again. They didn't put any thought into the script. We all know what casual means.
That's incredible.
What is this? Naked Gun?
Casual.
This is a Naked Gun movie. Angela Casual.
Basil exposition.
She has no character. Let's talk about Angela because you know what? I want to put some respect on her name too because she's hard done by. Her character is defending Micah. And then we don't see any payoff or resolution or revelation based on that. So that's one. We
don't see any actual development between her and Micah, really. I mean, it's like there's no. I don't think they even have any scenes together.
There's no dynamic there. She's like, "Oh, we gotta protect these kids," and then she has the kid from the corn, and then he's talking about evil, but like, there's no. Oh my God, it doesn't affect her character or personality at all. Even though that's her first inciting scene is like a big argument with Ruby Knox. They're going like, "Oh no, but these kids have to be given a second chance." Doesn't affect her at all. She's a basic white liberal. Okay,
she's casual.
She's casual. She's casual. You're right. Okay. Her second goal is to be mean to John because she thinks he's not very good. Like she's like, follow me to the bed and breakfast, and she just fucking speaks all about them. He's like, wow, she spit all about us. I guess one or two conversations later, ready to jump in the sack, and that's it. That's the last impact she has on the movie. She defends Micah, and then she has sex, and that's it. Those are only two contributions.
Does she have to do more? It's a mission complete.
I mean, she is a sacrifice victim at the end of the movie, so
like that felt random because I was like, why her? Like, why are you not just killing her? Just because that happened in the first movie when they took Linda Hamilton.
Maybe because she's the only adult left that they could possibly sacrifice at that point, because they burned down that town hall, full of those idiots
How many adults were even there?
Oh, everyone in the town, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
Which is like 12 people or something.
The scale is muddy.
Yeah.
Look, they're in a different location entirely, right? Like North Carolina versus Iowa, but the climax feels the exact same as the first movie. Like the setting is the exact same. Like all the CGI nonsense is the exact same.
No one said Outlander this time.
Yeah, this would have been better.
Wait, there is one Outlander line. When they first knock out Micah and take off, he says something like, "Kill the Outlanders."
The Outlanders are here. So he said, I caught that. Like, it's when he's on the ground. He says, He yells out something about Outlanders. It's not as iconic as we have your woman Outlander.
We need to get to the point in the Children of the Corn franchise where there's like multiple cities taken over by children. They have their own
the United States. We should go to a post-apocalyptic America where there's no adults, just children. Kids, and it's like Mad Max but with kids.
Yes, exactly, Doug. You're right. That's the right way to go with exploitation, multiple sequels down the line. Children of the Corn action films. Like
World
that's
of
what
the
they should
Children.
do.
Got it. Planet of the Children of the Corn.
Yes, exactly. Honestly, these movies could really take a note from the Planet of the Apes franchise.
An
Really.
astronaut lands. It was like, what did I miss? He was just like up in a space station or something. He comes back. Children have taken
blew
over
it
the
all
planet.
Escape from the Children of the Corn.
I feel like that old lady was doing some Heston-esque yelling, or like was like trying to go for it before she like did her oh what a world stuff. Like I don't know, there was the way her pitch was like you're trying to go for it.
You could feel the Heston in her voice because you could also tell that she was an NRA member.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right. So all the adults in the town, 20 people, get killed in a big fire, and then that's it.
Problem solved. Got them all.
But they deserve to die.
They were
mean, they
gonna
were-
poison.
They
their
were too
poison-
stupid to live, honestly. That is the easiest way of putting it. Like, what can I say? Like, it's just, I mean, there's like no other way that this movie could possibly exist other than the fact that the adults are too stupid to live.
And it goes to that whole thing at the beginning of the film where it was like the whole tension was, oh, how could all these adults just take in these kids, right? And then it's because they're evil and they need to die too, right? Like there's nothing really challenging ever happening. And that's not to say that I'm expecting too much or anything, it's just like literally little nudges here and there could have made this a more compelling film.
No, 100%. Because let's talk about Lacey, because again we really discussed how she has no character and no one cares about her, and she's only really there just to be love interest. But she
wants to go to New York.
Yeah, you could take me to New York. What a kind of incel fantasy is this bullshit, man?
Save me! You're my only hope.
Save me from my town. I'm a small town girl, and you're uptown boy. We're only on the train, meeting everywhere, wherever that song goes.
Yeah. I mean, they met like 1 day ago or something.
Are they even in love? Because he's almost trying to kill her, and also she seems to just care about using him as a meal ticket.
Because when he calls her out at the end, when she's like, "Did you mean that when you said I love you?" and she doesn't she straight up say like, "I would have said anything, get out of that," and then
yeah, she does.
She just pivots immediately back to like, "So New York, like we're going there."
The Big Apple.
It's like the White Lotus, the moment that he does dump him for like just to get out of there, and she'd be like on the road.
Imagine if that was Jennifer Coolidge
in
her movie. You saved my life. Like
Jesus Christ. Anyway, yes, Micah does say kill Outlanders, and Big John and Big Frank Red Bear decide that the best course of action is to
I like that we're calling the dad Big John. I think his name's Garrett or something.
No, he's Big John.
His last name is Garrett.
Hey, he shared a screen with Denzel Washington in St. Elsewhere. Put some respect on his name.
Oh, my apologies.
Look, I can't call him John. He looks like a caveman. I can't call him just John, man. Anyway, so their best plan is to ram a thresher into like a little mob of kids.
Good plan.
Hilarious. Yes.
Which you know what? A couple of slaps, Bert style would have helped too.
He swings at one kid, but the sound effect for it is even lighter than when Bert attacked kids in the first. Like it's like so, and it's so quick that I could barely register. I was like, did he just slap that kid out of the way? Like I wasn't sure, but he does. I feel like he swings at one kid,
and then he stabs.
He stabs Mordecai. I think with like Mordecai throws an arrow or a spear at him or whatever. He just catches it and like throws it right back through his torso. And it's completely like in cold blood, no hesitation there.
Also, I do want to say, Doug, you were right. Okay, you were right about the whole sowing the seeds thing being impregnation. How I know you're right? Okay, because the people who wrote the script clearly read the original source story. Because, okay, Malachi's girlfriend, as I mentioned, right, was named Ruth, right? And at the end of the short story, Ruth is pregnant, but Malachi has to sacrifice himself, right? And in this movie, you have Mordecai, which sounds really much like Malachi, and the girl he does the whole blood, blood brothers thing with, right? And talking about sowing the seeds. Her name is Ruth.
Oh.
All right, so I'm definitely sure that they were trying to lay down some of that. And she seems pretty chummy with Mike at the end still. So who knows? Yeah, maybe Mordecai didn't die a virgin. Fingers crossed.
Why do we keep doing kid fucking franchises? First Scream, all the pedophiles in Scream, and now
To be fair, at least in this movie they're banging each other. Okay, which is better. They're better.
That's what Stephen King's asking, like in all the book stories where he has that. He's like, is that better? I don't know.
No tiger here, okay? He's bad.
Let the record be shown. I brought up Howling.
What do you mean? I'm pretty sure.
Just wait, we get a couple movies in the Howling, and then there's some
exactly.
fucked up sex thing in there.
I'm certain that this will never come up again in these movies.
Oh, okay.
Just wait till we get to the urban harvest.
No.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I mean too.
Okay, so anyway, he walks around the rows is like a Tremors beast again, underneath the soil, and that's fun. And the already burnt corn is already still burning, even though Bert was supposed to have destroyed it with gas before. How did it happen again? Who knows? Magic.
Wait a minute, but it's Hemingford. It's not Gatlin anymore, right?
But they still have the corn. I thought they mentioned the old corn was still being used.
Well, no, you mean like the moldy corn?
Yeah, isn't that what he's saying? Like, oh, we need to use the old moldy corn. Isn't that Gatlin corn then? I thought that was Gatlin corn.
I thought it was Gatlin corn as well.
It's fuzzy of where they are, because when they're in the field, like making out, and they find all the bodies, they're like, these must be, and you see like the blue man's corpse, so they're like, oh, these are the bodies they didn't find. So I'm like, oh, you're in Gatlin now, because
do they share cornfields? Is it like a nebulous border?
So it's like Metropolis and Gotham. There's just a bay across the bay.
I like that it's gotten to the point where we're like, geographically, where is this corn? I like that's the point of the conversation now.
Well, the corn's important, so we need to know where is it.
It either shouldn't exist and it's continuing there, or it's more of that Native American magic.
Oh God,
I'm going on the side of Native American magic.
Yeah, you know what, Frank Redbear, rest in peace, amen. He deserves it.
It goes into what I was saying before, right? Like the beginning of this film, he gets introduced. He's just a smart guy. He's just like, oh, like I may know a thing or two about these things, right? And they're like, okay, whatever. And then it gets to the end, and he's getting hit with arrows and stuff. And there's like it's crazy with what's going on.
Oh my God, Micah just bitch slaps Danny. It's fucking great. And then the other guy just bitch slaps him too. Oh my God.
Yeah, and then he gets run over, and then his face
that was
starts
gnarly.
inflating.
Like that whole sequence is kind of gnarly, right? I mean, if you think about it, that's actually like a really like a really gory, over the top way to die. I mean, because like he gets literally shredded by that harvester or whatever it is, and I'm always like wondering when the sequence happens, like with that really weird facial transformation. It's just like, what exactly does that mean? I mean, I
thought it was like the demon leaving him, but it's because it's like you see the face break apart, and then like there's a explosion of light, and then he looks around like kind of confused and scared, and then he just gets fucking ate up by the machine. So I think that's him becoming a normal boy again, seconds before he's killed.
To be fair, you know what? King of the Hill stole this ending because it happens in the episode King of the Hill too. Where the one with Michael Keaton, where he's like, he has schizophrenia, and then like 2 seconds before he gets fucking murdered, his schizophrenia is cured. He's like, what the fuck is going on? So you don't overlap. This is why they're both masterpieces.
That's also the plot to Spider-Man: No Way Home. Yeah, they cure all the villains and then send them back to the moments right before their death.
Oh my god! I
Wait
see.
a minute, but the idea is that they're going to survive now, right? I mean,
That's
it's
so
all about
No.
stupid.
second
That's so
chances.
that's so stupid. No, let's keep those movies pure.
Yeah, that's why Norman Osborn is like, oh, before he gets hit with the glider, because he was normal and cured in that second, and then he's
Right.
dead.
Like, oh, right.
Well, that O was actually a stand-in for I regret my previous transgressions against the human race. I recognize my woes and promise to
I-
be a better citizen.
And
Stabs
then
my
he's
friend.
impaled.
Yep.
No, in his last moments, Doctor Octopus saw the light of Islam, and
Yes.
purposely recited from
Okay,
Shahada.
we should totally debate that when we do the Spider-Man trilogies.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I mean,
I-
for me, trying to put logic on that movie is like a Sisyphean for No Way Home. Like I don't know, like they hand wave so much shit with the spells.
I've still never seen it. I've purposefully never watched that movie.
all right. So as I mentioned, no, this is probably Micah's best scene though, because he's like going full tilt on his like wrath of God. The spirit of vengeance. Rant. It's amazing. And then he goes
Yes.
full Highlander, which I don't think makes any sense. Like, why would he who walks behind the rose like need that or need to do that? And he didn't do it before. You just killed him. Make
Because
it-
there can be only one.
Yeah, it's unclear what he who walks behind the rose's powers are. Like he shows up as like force lightning sometimes. He has predator vision, but he also needs a cult of kids to like make sacrifices. Or
He
maybe he doesn't. Maybe the kids are just doing that, and he's like, "Oh, all right, whatever."
He
Work
can
with what
control
you
the
got.
corn, apparently. Like, he can use the corn to actually... He can make the corn come alive and kill you, although he does that, like, maybe only in one scene per movie or something.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he'll grab your leg with a corn stalk or stab you or something. But
it
then
really
he's
should be more per movie. Yeah.
I will say that, like, again, I really do think Micah is by far the most interesting and engaging character in this movie, and I do like that performance. I think that little by little, I mean, it builds up, to that crescendo of, complete cult leader, madness right there. I do wonder though, like, why they needed him to be possessed in the first place. Because if you think about it, like, it's kind of like the question is, wait a minute, so did we not, was he not the real Micah throughout the entire movie? Even all of that stuff he was talking about his father, was that like, the demon inside him just like saying all of that? Or
it makes him less interesting if he's possessed, because the one scene that kind of evokes the like kind of inner political conflict of the first one, where there's like someone, I think his name is Jedediah, is pushing back against him. He's like, yeah, everyone's dead. Like, why are we like restarting this? And then, Micah's talking about like, what we've seen, like he who walks behind the rose is real. And like I think that's an interesting concept where it's like, yeah, their faith has been confirmed. Like they saw a physical, like a manifestation of something at the end of the first movie. So like for that just to be an inciting thing, and then for them to like have an interpretation of like, no, we need to continue our radicalization, I think would be more interesting than just, oh, he's possessed.
100%.
It's what I was saying earlier on, right? Like this idea that they've got a monster problem, right? Like they've got an idea for a monster that was set forth from the book, obviously, but then there's the way that they had portrayed it in the movie originally, and they feel a little beholden to what they had done in the first film. So they can't go the whole 9 yards to do something that's actually scary. So ultimately what we're left with is just like visions with like, pixels and things that are just barely passable.
At
Nothing
least Eyes
scary
became a
though.
zombie.
Exactly.
At least Eyes became a zombie. This
You
guy,
got that gray hair and the voice changer.
you got modeled skin.
He wants you to.
Until the very end, Micah is just Micah, and he's a puny, scrawny guy. He's not weird or menacing like Isaac. So it's a real downtrodden,
But something that Doug said, like you get that moment where like you get like him going through all of the like the lightning's going on, and then his face turns into a creature, right?
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
Why do we get that creature's face for like 2 seconds? Like that wasn't even a bad creature design,
No,
like
it's
why
like the
not?
creeper. It's like the
Mm.
creeper.
Why not have it there for like a minute, attacking people? Why does it go away after that?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they couldn't afford it, but I guess, but really, like, it was definitely the sense that he was apparently possessed like the whole time. Like maybe he would have never done any of this if not for that demon inside him, which is
He's
kind
got
of
that dog in him, you know.
yeah, and like it's interesting because like every once in a while, like especially the first time he shows up, like I noticed that they do they do some makeup effects on him. Like like I think right after he's first possessed, he shows up. Like I think like his eyes are almost like entirely black.
Yeah.
Uh,
But then they don't do that for the rest of it. Because like most of the movie, he is not acting demonic. He's just being creepy kid cult leader, but like in a way that seems like it should just be
Him.
he's just a radicalized kid.
Yeah, and again, that is interesting because if they had him be demonic, like if they had him be like present himself as an avatar of this pagan god, that would probably be even more that would have been interesting. That would be more I mean, you guys want proof of he who walks behind the rose? Hello, demon face.
Right. Like he could have just like someone else could have had a crisis of faith, and then he like shows his face or something, and like, you don't believe.
Yeah, exactly. And of course that does make that moment where he's he's basically pleading with Danny, "Daddy, help me! I was there for you. We're supposed to be friends."
When was he there for him? He just said, "I like to kill my dad. Don't you want to kill your dad sometimes?" And like, yes, I'm in. But also to answer all your questions, the reason why I only had 1 minute of that is because you know what? CD Face needed a couple more CDs, and they had to cut the budget somewhere. The to be fair, CD Face is pretty cool, so it all worked out. But that scene as well. Again, I want to go back to what Doug was saying. I think there's some weight to this being like kind of homoerotic. Okay, because he has a choice. Danny has a choice. Like we gotta run, and so Lacey, his girlfriend's like, "Oh, come on, Danny, we gotta get out here," and he's like, "But I have to save Micah." He makes a choice.
It makes no sense from what we've seen, but like that's if you fill in the gaps, like it's like, oh, was there ever any intent of that being some kind of thing like between the two of them? Because otherwise, like there's nothing. There's no reason for Danny to want to join the cult, and then there's no reason for Micah to like care about Danny.
And there's no reason for Danny to try to save him. Like he stops to try to save him once, and then he tries to save him again. He tried to save him two times, like in the last couple of minutes. It's great.
We're fighting over table scraps here, right? Like at the end of the day, the reality is that we do feel more of a connection with him and his father, right? Like at least that has something, right? Like I'd say at the end of the day,
they have like 2 scenes together.
That's more than what we got with Micah through all this, Like I don't think.
Yeah,
that
Big John's closer to Red Bear than he is to his son.
Yeah, Bill, when I would not be surprised if Big John would have been more sad if it would have been less sad. I mean, if Danny had died, because at least if him and Red Bear had mutual respect, And
then he can finally fucking chase the story, without his damn kid in the way.
I like that scene too in the very beginning. We didn't talk about it. One of the first scenes, like, and I just ruined your life, didn't I, Dad? Like, yeah, you did. You did ruin my life. Oh, fucking ridiculous, man.
I mean, it's interesting. Like the last interesting thing about the movie is that they actually choose to end with that sequence of Frank Redbear's ghost. Right? I mean, there was really no reason for it to be
Marvel post credits scene.
All right, we're gonna get down to it in just a minute, but we got time for the rest of the ending. So Micah is destroyed in a wood chipper, which is just horrifyingly bad. But none of the other kids are destroyed in a wood chipper. They should have just fucking conga line them into it, because those kids are gonna be in trouble, and it's better just kill them all right now, including the one that's probably pregnant.
Or based on this one, they'll probably be fine. The police will show up, be like, that's fucked up. Anyway, kids are free to go.
But now that you mention that, that would have been actually kind of gnarly because I mean, Frank seems to be driving that thing to and actively trying to like run them down. I mean, so if you think about it, there could have been a really cool elaborate sequence there where he's just like running them over with the harvester and spreading blood and gore everywhere across the field.
Yeah, it should have been like Ready or Not, to the little kids and not
Yeah.
like rich capitalists.
Or like the lawnmower scene in Sinister.
True.
Missed
No, but
opportunity.
they gotta take them to the city though, right? Like we
But-
know the urban harvest is coming, right? So like we know we gotta take them into like a different, more developed part of America.
And we'll see what Lacey's up to, in New York.
Are these characters coming back? Because
No!
oh, okay. I was like, I hope not.
I love
No,
how
we're just spitballing.
I love how Lacey is definitely like you mentioned, like, you know what? I don't actually love you, but I want you to ride. Now that,
So
like,
New York,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Everybody wants to go to the big city,
We'll still be together in New York when I'm modeling.
No, she's gonna go there. She's gonna get like caught up in the art scene. She's gonna live a full happy life. Him, he's gonna own a small business.
The only way I see it working out is he becomes photographer. He's a journalist. He probably has some ins. And then they collab together.
Nepotism. There
Exactly.
you go.
Right.
You know what? He's a reporter. Plan a couple of stories. Mutually beneficial. Just like the ending of White Lotus season 2, or White Lotus season 1, or White Lotus season 3.
Or
right?
every season of White Lotus
has a couple that is just parasitical to each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of endings, are we going to finally talk about Red Tail now?
Okay, so they all drive off, feast style. All nice white heteronormative couples that lived, and poor Micah, the gay one, died. Anyway, then we have Red Bear in full regalia, drawing on a stone. The ending is like, "I'll take care of the corn from now on," and he fades off to the distance in wind chimes. And this is the most schmaltzy ending I've ever seen in my fucking life. And it's horrible. It's like it's not even set up, and apparently it was a reshoot.
What?
Really?
Yes.
What?
According
Imagine like you're watching the original cut of this movie and you're just like, what's missing? Racism.
Here we go. According to the commentary, okay, Price said the ending involving Red Bear pinning the stone was added at the last minute. Originally, the ending was to involve John Garrett making a phone call to the tabloid at a phone booth by the side of the road, only to be swallowed into the earth by he who walks behind the road.
Huh?
Oh,
Better ending.
I mean, that's like an Evil Dead-esque ending.
That's like a Nightmare on Elm Street ending.
Yeah.
There you go. But instead we get like a racist caricature, right? That like feels like that one
so unearned,
advertisement.
too.
You know that PSA from the 80s where it's like,
The tearful Indian.
Exactly, the tearful Indian. Exactly, right? Wasn't that played by an Italian guy too, or
Yes,
something? Like it wasn't
was.
actually.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, so it's like it feels like that, right?
Well, they got a
Rather
real
than
native, so it's fine.
I would argue that it was set up actually because the first time he takes him to see that stone, he tells him about these drawings and how here is apparently somebody who's supposed to bring the light or something, and except that hasn't happened yet. So presumably, I think the idea is that at the end he is the one who I guess brings the light or whatever that was.
The prophecy has been fulfilled.
Does he
Yeah,
have to be wearing
exactly.
all that shit though?
No.
exactly. It's so reductive. Like it's like Doug, you keep on bringing this up. That like Stephen King definitely has this issue within his filmography, and one specific example that comes to mind is like Pet Cemetery, right? Like the Micmac tribe that he keeps on talking about. That's the Mi'kmaq tribe, right? Like that's Stephen King just being a racist, right? And this totally feels in line within that, like Stephen King
Or
doesn't know
Firestarter.
what he's playing around, and even Fire exactly. Like the list goes on. He does it all the time, right? And the issue is that like in this one here, it's just also an issue where it's like the most blatant, most like stereotypical thing imaginable. Like this is like you go into an antique store and you go to the bad section. You know what I mean? Like this is like a situation that just like feels old school in a way that like is out of its way almost, or is so ignorant that they just don't understand. You know what I mean?
if it feels like we're dumbing it down to a severe degree, and it's a very
Yes,
dumb
dumbing it
movie.
down.
Well, it was in the prophecy, so I don't know what you guys want. You know.
It was written.
It was written on the stone, so they didn't have a choice.
Zooming out. And who wrote this movie? White man.
I love that we saw the prophecy in the picture that Frank Red Bear, Native American spirit guide, now is drawing is of a car driving through like a highway. On this sacred rock.
Yep.
How horrifyingly stupid this is.
I can't wait to see how they incorporate prophetic drawings into because I feel like they're like, well, that's part of Children of the Corn. That needs to be in all. We had a girl who drew things in the first one, so there's gonna be some inner city kid who has visions in 3.
And it's graffiti.
Yeah,
you're so right.
What am I right?
No, I hope so.
Oh my god,
that'd be so good. Actually, that's a great question now because like my memory on these series is totally fading. But like when it comes to like going forward, what makes a Children of the Corn movie, right?
Corn. One.
Let's get this written down. Let's do Children of Corn bingo. Okay. Children of Corn bingo. Okay, so we got cornfields. Okay?
Obviously, of course.
Corn kills.
Children, of course.
Corn-based kills, specifically. Do that include farm-based kills? Let's put farm-based kills.
I think so. Sickles.
Farm equipment.
Farm equipment. Let's put that separate ones. Let's see, a brunette little boy who is a weirdo.
Okay. With diction.
Who speaks like a weirdo. Okay, good.
Wait a minute. How about chanting in the soundtrack?
Choral chanting or however you say it.
Yes.
Can we just say that the one thing missing from this movie that kept that from a 10 out of 10 was no.
Yeah.
It was missing
that. Needs to be the main theme.
Yeah. Although I will say, the composer for this, Daniel Licht, he did this score for the Dishonored games and Dexter. I mean, say what you will about the show. That music's good.
All right, bitch slapping kids. Okay, let's that one. And
he who walks behind the rose.
Yeah, he who walks and anything else. We got corn-based kills, farm equipment kills. Isaac ripoffs, prophetic drawings, bitch slapping kids.
Painted on lightning, like whatever you call that effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bad possession effects.
Mm-hmm. A climax. Religion, of course. A climax that takes place within a cornfield, but everybody's standing within the flattened area, and they're surrounded by corn cobs.
Okay.
I hope they find some way to do that in the middle of a city. I will be so happy.
Like it's that location, but in the background you can see skyscrapers.
It is called Urban Harvest, so we'll see.
I mean, they're in Chicago, and if you go outside the city, Illinois is a lot of corn. As an Illinois resident, I can attest.
You're gonna say that Alamo is always, on the outskirts of Chicago.
Hey, Doug. Before the next episode, could you go to Children of the Corn Urban Harvest shooting locations?
do a field trip? Yeah. If they let me see where they actually shot this. They probably shot it in a sound stage in LA.
North Carolina.
Elvis, I think we forgot the most important ingredient of all: parent deaths or killing parents.
Of course.
Yeah, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, killing the adults. Truth to power.
Yeah.
Rise up. Give the power back to the proletariat.
The only filming locations I'm seeing listed for Urban Harvest is LA.
Oh,
fakers!
Come on, there's no river taxis in LA.
All right, but yeah, so okay, so I did look up. Okay, it does say creature makeup effects. Streaming Mad George in the official credits for Urban Harvest. So I'm not sure who's right. I keep seeing Kevin Yeager for one. I keep seeing Streaming Mad George for the other. Who can tell? But this is what the movie says. So,
but what sequence even really would it be? Did we feel like the blood was really Screaming Mad George?
No, I'm talking about the third one.
Oh, the third one. I thought it was this one. Never mind.
That's what we're gonna say. Like, well, the third one could be the make or break. I think the third one is gonna be like, should we continue on at all? Because
Is the third one good?
Mhm.
we don't
That's what
care.
the fandom says, right?
It's
That's
the
like
it's the better one. That's what I keep on hearing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's most entertaining. Yeah.
And what I will say is that like this one had more to discuss than the first movie, and like
Yeah.
like the first movie, I felt like it was like a great like I felt like we were like in a wake or something, you know. Where
Yeah,
it's just
it felt
oh,
like,
dear
you feel
Lord.
like, what are we doing here? Why are we doing
Yes.
this?
And that being said, like even then, I still think the first movie is better than this one. That being
It's-
said, this one had more to talk about and was more fun to talk about.
You know, because okay, Isaac and Malachi. I can say Mordecai. God damn this movie. But Malachi, they fucking feasted that movie up above their heads. Okay, like, they're worth watching just for them alone. Yeah, they're like the poster boys of this series for a reason. And this movie is more uniform in terms of like it doesn't have too much highs, definitely doesn't have that much lows, except for Red Bear, and not even Red Bear, the ending, more or less.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say Red Bear rules. What are you
yeah,
talking
Red
about?
rules, yeah, exactly. But
Normal, chill,
but-
cool.
but it doesn't have anything that like, really speaks to like, oh my god, this is iconic. 'Cause I know the movie sucks, but god damn it, Isaac and Malachi, like they're institutions. They're pillars of that movie. So they don't have this one doesn't have it. This doesn't have those.
It's the gesture at actually doing something, you know, like that's what that was, right? Where it's like, oh, there's like some interpersonal like drama that's going on between these kids, and there's a power structure, you know, like that's interesting. Going forward, we know like if we're doing the bingo thing again, it's like it's always gonna include some reason to kill the adults in a way that's contrived, right? Like adults are going to be the focus now. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where it's like a predominantly child cast and only a couple of adults,
Because
like,
they're only going to get cheaper and cheaper, and that's more expensive to like have
exactly
kids.
and
Yeah.
ironically enough, this movie cost more than the first one.
Oh my god. And they couldn't even, you know what? This movie definitely needed like a lot of little kid extras. And even if they disappeared at the end of the movie and that were during the night scenes, they needed more of those. Because that was really funny in the first one. Like, you know what? That kind of made it too. You see all these little kids running around. And then who cares? There's only like, they only had like 5, actually adult teenagers to film with the end of the movie. It did make it seem more lively, having all having all these little kids running around. Anyway, so Children of Corn 2. Anything else anyone wants to say?
The Hellraiser 3 connection,
very
apparently an extra from that is the director of the next one.
What?
Amazing.
James D.R. Hickox.
I like that it's an extra because it makes it seem like it's just like, hey, you.
He just wandered. He just wandered onto the set, and they're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing over here?"
Yeah. Hey,
you know,
what are you guys going on this weekend? Can you make us Children of the Corn?
We need it in a week.
It's like one of those gags in a rom-com. Like, I'll kiss the next man who says hi to me. I'll give the directing share to the next person to walk through that door.
And then Mark Ruffalo comes in and he's like, oh hi. Nice to meet you. You know, like, that's
a good Ruffalo.
I remember a really funny joke from the first season of Family Guy where I think, they see the Hanson brothers pull up in their truck. I think they were a band at the time, right? And so the Hansons come out and ask for directions, like, and Peter sees them. And like Meg is there, and he like pushes her aside. Look out! It's the Children of the Corn. He pulls out a shotgun and starts shooting them.
I do want there to be a character who's like kind of like how Loomis gets more militant over the Halloween sequels. That there's just someone like an adult with a gun, like who's just like opening fire on children.
Like, oh, my wife left me and took the kidnapped children with her. Like,
he just has like a submachine gun. He's running around.
An iPad. Yeah.
Well, I will say, I think it's interesting that Children of the Corn is like, I don't think historically there are that many horror movies that like to actually have children either as villains or to put them in danger. Just you look at zombie movies, vampire movies. Kids are normally safe. right?
Well, like
Eh,
I think that they're always going to keep the kids safe in this movie. I think they're always going to make them creepy. And I think that the difference
mm.
between like the first movie and like what I see, where I see the kids going in the future installments, is they're going to just be like, reaction shots, like they're not actually going to be a part of the film anymore. It's
Because
just
they're
like
not going
the
to be
only
able to
reason.
afford that.
Yeah, it's just gonna become like, oh, it's they're there because the title needs it to be there, and then the script is like what we have in the drawer. That's what it feels like to me.
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, you can't really work them that much. I even think one reason why they shot Children of the Corn where they did was supposedly because at the time, maybe the child labor laws there were kind of lax, so you could actually
Yep.
Mhm.
have them like work longer days or whatever.
No, I definitely agree.
I
There's
might
always
watch Urban Harvest tonight. I'm clicking through some
Yeah.
screen caps, and I'm liking what I'm seeing some corn in the city.
You know what? I might do that too. 'Cause I'm looking through some screen caps as well, and like it looks like visually different, and I'll give it that.
Mhm.
All right. So any other last thoughts before we do another kind of go around?
Okay, final thought. Has anybody seen I think it was a movie by Vincenzo Natali based on a Stephen King story called
Vincenzo Natali.
Vincenzo Natali, yeah, In the Tall Grass.
Yes.
So I'm
I
just like
have.
wondering, what was that kind of sort of like a remake or retelling of Children of the Corn in a way? Because
I
it
never
seems like
saw it.
Yes. So you're talking like, just to refresh my memory a bit. This is the Thomas Hayden Church Netflix film, right?
I think
Yes,
so, yes.
Yes.
I remember seeing ads for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the like in principle, it does kind of have like the crops are a part of the threat, but really it is about like the interpersonal drama. And like I remember people critiquing the film at the time because like it's really like not much happens until the end kind of movie. But I would say that the tension actually did quite work well. And obviously you've got Thomas Hayden Church, so he's going to be doing a really good job. No, it's Thomas Jane. It's Thomas Jane, not Thomas Hayden Church.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I like
Um,
Thomas Jane, not his politics, but his screen presence.
exactly. Yeah. He's really good in the role. I remember that well, and then also like I'm a sucker for Vincenzo Natali. I think he's a really good filmmaker.
It just looks more moody, like clicking through the screen, because it's like it's supposed to be like an endless corn.
Yeah.
Once you enter, you can't leave.
Yeah, but I
It's
think
more
that's
about the farmhouse. Like
I
it's
think
more
that's
about
why
like the family.
I thought, is there some sort of weird like connection there? Because yeah, like you
Stephen King
also
and Joe Hill are credited, or like, wait, it's like, is it based on a story? Because they're listed in the credits,
I
based on a
think there's
novella
a
by
story.
Stephen King and Joe Hill.
Yeah, but you're getting at the right thing there. I feel like it is reminiscent of Children of the Corn, right? Like it's reminiscent. It has the same kind of ingredients, but it's not the same kind of threat. Is the way I view it.
Mm. Yeah, I guess one thing that I remember definitely like it from that movie was this notion of how like the grass, like the corn, I guess, sort of becomes endless. Like in a way, it's like reality itself starts to. I don't know. For me, like some of the creepiest scenes in Children of the Corn. It's like when they go into the cornfields and they can't find their way out. It's like no matter where you go, it's like you're
There
just
you are.
surrounded by corn, yeah, and you don't know where the hell you are, and it's like you can end up right back exactly where you started, right? Like reality gets blurred or whatever by by this evil force or whatever. So I guess like yeah, like I thought, man, that definitely some parallels happening there.
hmm But you're also getting at something there too, where I feel like this whole franchise is missing like more fear of the farmland, right? Like what
Yes.
you're talking about there of like the idea of like the kids getting lost in the cornrows, that needs to be in the majority of the film, in my opinion. Like I this idea that like okay, we've got this farm scenario, and then the most of our setting is going to be in like small towns. Like I feel like that's the wrong instinct. We need to be out in the nature. If it's going to be in daylight anyways, why not like show what it looks like to be lost in some place? Things like that. It just feels like it's trying to be other things that are popular at the time rather than actually working into what they have surrounding them theoretically.
No, I totally agree with you there. And I think that's definitely something that's missing because, yeah, they have this potential for uh, filming things outside, right? Like they have these potentially cool landscapes that are never really utilized, right? But that in and of
Mhm.
itself, like you film you film like the corn the right way, that can be creepy, that can be atmospheric.
Because
I brought up
besides the 1 or 2 corn kills you get, per movie, this stuff could be happening anywhere. Like they go into a doctor's office, they're like, a church, like those aren't specific. Like, yes, church has more rural connotations, like in that context, but like it's not specific to like the actual like Midwest, iconography of like this like rural like vastness.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, Children of the Corn 2. Don't watch it. It's really bad.
No, it's a bad movie. We talked about it more than the movie itself in runtime, but
Oh, we did.
don't watch
Oh,
it.
we're back.
Maybe I'll watch In the Tall Grass. Actually, it's Patrick Wilson, not Thomas Jane, who's in it.
Oh, is that who
Right.
it is?
Yeah,
Johnny.
it's Patrick Wilson. I
It's
thought,
one
wait a
of those
minute,
white
was it?
guys.
Yeah, it's Patrick
It's
Wilson.
one of those white guys.
They all look the same, honestly. All of the three people I just said, Thomas Hayden Church, Thomas Jane, and Patrick Wilson, put them all in the lineup. They all look the exact same.
Oh my
I
God.
can tell Patrick Wilson apart just because of the iconic girls gif that he's a part of
Right.
that gets shared a lot. So his
Thomas,
face.
Thomas Jane has a pronounced jaw, and he was a villain in George of the Jungle. So
Right.
he was the
Thomas-
Sandman.
So
I'll
Thomas
say
Jane
that
is-
Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I only know Patrick Wilson because there's that great selfie he took on a roller coaster. It's just a great image. If you guys wanted to look it up, go ahead.
Patrick Wilson on a roller coaster.
Yeah, and he's just like smiling. It's good.
Sounds like something he'd do. Classic Patrick Wilson.
What were you gonna say?
I just think Thomas Jane has that sort of classic, I don't know, almost comic bookish jawline. Like he could play like a hard-boiled detective like Max Payne or something. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's why he was a detective in The Expanse.
Oh,
yeah,
hold
this
on,
was
hold
him,
on,
wasn't it?
hold on. This is very important. Okay, so I'm just gonna share this link in the chat with you guys. There is a full video of Patrick Wilson taking a roller coaster.
Okay, you know what? Oh my God! It actually is a full video.
He went to Six Flags. So that's great for him.
The Jersey Devil made him do it.
Oh my God, that movie sucked too.
and also like because I can breach into a couple categories here. The Jersey Devil is actually a historically important roller coaster. I will throw that out there. But yeah, sorry.
Because that's if they cryptid, like, oh, okay, I guess so. Like,
He's not on Mothman's level, but he's he got an X-Files episode about him, Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
Like,
wasn't did you guys ever see that documentary called Cropsy?
No, but it's about the
No.
Cropsy guy, right?
Yeah, and it's also kind of a bit about the Jersey Devil as well.
Never seen it.
It's a good one.
All right, so Children of the Corn 2, Final Sacrifice. It didn't end here. There's like 9, there's like 8, 9 more of these.
The Final Frontier. A few more Star Trek movies after that.
I think I
No
said
more,
that
though.
it's. Wait a minute. Okay, I do have one question, Elvis. I said that this is the final theatrical
Yeah.
Children of the Corn movie,
Right.
but like, were there any others after this that actually came out in theaters?
Well, technically, the most recent one had a short run in theaters, but I got hit by COVID, so.
Right.
Oh, was that a remake or something?
It was a remake.
These don't have any continuity after this one, man. So they're all remakes,
Oh,
except for
okay.
Isaac's Return.
I think there's technically 2 remakes, right? Like there's one that was made for like in 2009 or something that's a remake, and then there's that most recent one that was also a remake. And when I say remake, I mean like a redo of the
Readaptation.
first movie. Yeah.
Readaptation. Let's say it that way, because it's based on source material. I'm like, readaptation is the best term.
Everything else is just taking that name and just doing whatever the fuck they want with it.
They're running with it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, so Yeah, I think we're all done. And we've run the gamut on the final sacrifice.
Yeah.
So where can we find you, Tony? Why don't you let us know where they can find you?
Yeah, there I am on Twitter. That's me at poor old Rolo Tony. And yeah, I'm gonna be on 2 Cent Critics very soon to talk about Better Man, the Robbie Williams film. Get hyped for that. Then there's Seeing Faces in Movies. I'm going to be talking about Fritz Lang there. And then this week I'll be talking about sorry, I'm going to be doing the interview with Larry Fessenden next week. So get ready
Nice.
for that very soon.
Nice.
All right, Doug, why don't you let us know where they can find you?
Yeah, you find me here at the Doug Files, and then also on me and Tony have a movie TV podcast. These guys got juice, mostly movies, but you know, we if a show's good enough, like The Pit, which we've been doing weekly coverage on, we're gonna cover it. So we've been having some cool guests on, and also besides The Pit, covering interesting weird movies like Bulworth. We just did an episode on that, and so yeah, we got a lot of other cool stuff planned. So check it out.
Awesome. All right, and Mikhail, let us know where you can find you.
So you can find me at MLS 532 on Twitter. I also have a Substack newsletter called Textual Variations. I've been really delving deeply into the Sony Spider-Man universe lately. So just published an article about the Sinister Six movie that was never made and that most people really don't know like what it's actually about. And I'm hoping to really do a deep dive into what the heck happened to Morbius behind the scenes later this summer, hopefully before Brand New Day comes out in theaters.
Do you talk about how Craven's like a masterpiece, like one of the best movies of the 2020s?
Actually, I have a whole article planned for that called John Wick meets Aquaman in defense of Craven.
Hell yeah!
Yeah,
but the Foreigner is like the best character in any Spider movie.
1, 2, 3.
He's so cool. That's just he just got DO. He had the world, you know. So it's good.
Yeah,
Mikhail, I have to ask you, like, what are your thoughts on Madame Web?
So I think it's okay. Like, I don't think it's
Good.
like
Yeah.
it's quote unquote good. I mean, obviously it has some really weird ADR stuff, but I don't think like it's terrible by any means. It's just very mid.
I think it's better than all the Venoms easily.
Oh my god!
What?
No,
Hey,
no way.
Speaking my language, Doug. You and me are on the same.
Venoms are boring. They're so boring.
The Venom movies suck.
No, the Venom movie. The first one is great. I'm gonna say the first one is great.
The first one is the best one, but it's still pretty boring.
I don't know. I think it's fun.
I like the music video. The Eminem music video is the height of those movies.
The third one is second best, and the second one is like just okay.
Craven is, in my opinion, truly the closest thing to a masterpiece. I say this unironically. I would be, you know, I hope to write about it sometime later this year. Maybe we'll see what happens.
Craven is the closest to be an action movie.
I mean, it's got Russell Crowe in it, so yeah.
It's got Russell Crowe. It is rated R. It is like completely uncompromised. Okay, and it actually knows like how to depict I would say the Russianness of the main character. Like, I mean, seriously, they have the one of the theme songs is basically like the Russian lullaby. It's like based on the Russian lullaby. I'm just like,
I mean, J.C. Chandor is like a real direct Margin Call.
Yeah, Margin Call is an amazing movie. I mean, I just saw it recently. I was like, oh my god, this is like great. I can see why Craven for me was really like the height of the SSU. And really, I want a sequel to that movie. I want to see Craven go up against the Chameleon. I want to see like Chameleon, you know, with Miles Warren and all that shit.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, I just need to come out and denounce the SSU. You know, I just cannot, you know, sanction the SSU
because you're emphasizing the SS part.
Is it SUMC then? I mean,
there we go.
It's Spunksy.
I just think SSU at the end of the day is simpler to say. I like divide it into eras.
I'm being an asshole. I'm just kidding. Don't worry.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, I hope to, and that's also what I'm really hoping to talk about the Spider-Man movies with you guys because
Yes.
like I've been
Yeah.
revisiting them. Yeah, like have all sorts of thoughts. I actually like TASM 2 now. Did not
No
expect that.
way.
No,
No way.
really, I
I
think it's
I
underrated. I have legit like
Oh dear.
that's the Venom movie to me, to these guys. Like, it's
Ye-
unwatch. Those movies are unwatchable. The first and second one are
What,
even worse than Marvel movies. They're even worse than the MCU
well,
trilogy.
okay.
I'll say about the Amazing Spider-Man 2, like I have seen that movie almost as many times as my favorite Spider-Man 2 because of how much it makes me laugh. That movie makes me laugh.
It
so
is
hard.
pretty funny.
Mhm.
Look, it's a messy film. Okay, for sure. It's got like, obvious issues, but there are parts in it that I legitimately have come to respect. I think Mark Webb definitely improved as a visual filmmaker in between them. I think
Sure.
I mean, in hindsight, you look at it like right now, I think on Twitter, especially, I'm seeing people recognize how, why does this movie look so much better than like all of the stuff coming out of the MCU right now in terms of visual effects and lighting and cinematography and all that stuff. And that's true. And I actually think there was
It's
a
true.
really cool. Okay. And here's the thing I really like the dynamic, brief as it may be, between the Green Goblin and Electro. When those two are on screen, they are, it's actually like crackling. Like there's real chemistry there.
Well,
That I'm
James
like,
Hunt's a good actor, and like he's kind of underutilized in that film, unfortunately.
But the
Yeah.
best scene in the movie was cut. It's the scene where his dad's still alive and shows up at the graveyard. Like that's I think that scene is legit great. I mean, I also just really like Campbell Scott, but like I think that's actually like an effective scene for me compared to
No,
the rest of the movie.
my favorite scene in that movie is, well, it could be a Spider-Man or a woman. And it could
There's
be
no way to
anyone.
know.
Yeah,
For sure.
I love that scene for sure. That's my favorite scene.
well, anyway, I hope to debate those.
Children of the Corn 2.
Yes,
as
we
it-
should round out. We should round out. Sorry.
Everyone
Not-
watched Craven on Netflix.
Everyone watched Craven. Everyone watched all these movies, including the best one, Last Dance. I cried. Oh my god, I miss Venom so much. Oh my god, he died. It's sad. Anyway,
Spoilers.
Yeah, I actually never saw 3. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know.
like the thing of it, 3 is that I think it's second. I think the second best one, but the budget was like slashed in half from the previous one, so a lot of nothing happens.
Is there an Eminem song in the credits?
No, it's a really, I think it's a fun song, but it's not an Eminem song. It's a good
Like,
song.
who did they get? Joey Badass? Like,
Okay, let's see. Who was it? Let's see.
The world will burn. And
It's let's see here. It's artist's grandson and Tom Morello.
Tom Morello.
There it
Okay,
is.
maybe I'll watch it then.
But yes, it's a good song. I like it. Anyway, fuck it. Children of Corn 2. Don't watch it. Let's watch Urban Harvest. Maybe like Leprechaun going to the hood. We'll get some of the best ones. You never know.
Every franchise has to go there eventually. The hood and then to space if they go long enough.
Children of Corn. Oh my god, Children of Corn in space. Like, let's say like we're like we're building like a colony. We got to Mars. Like we got a terraform. We got practice using a staple crop, corn. They're trying to fucking do a test
Interstellar.
a test run in space on Mars using corn. See, they grow corn in space, and then boom, that's it.
And the colony dies overnight, and they send someone to investigate, and it's just kids.
Oh my god!
And they're going to like a distant star off into the distance, and the star is named "He Who Walks Behind the Row."
Oh,
We got it.
I think it would be cool if He Who Walks Behind the Rose were an alien in that,
like a cosmic entity, like something
Yes.
like Lovecraftian.
like it.
Yes.
Like Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe you'll get that cool. Maybe.
They never did go to space. Actually, that's
No.
that's weird. I mean, every self-respecting horror franchise goes to space eventually.
Come on. Yeah. And if you're lucky, David Cronenberg will come with you.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason.
And then you also have the, hey, let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Hit the bodies.
We're just talking about anything other than Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Other things we should cover. Spider-Man, Jason, I'll talk about all those.
There's also Night
David
Breed.
Cronenberg.
Let's do David Cronenberg playing other characters in horror movies trilogy here.
Yeah, he actually shows up in Ready or Not 2 in a
And I don't
really
watch
nice.
that shit.
No, I mean, he
How
has-
brief is his part? Is it like a real role or?
No, it's very brief, but he sort of kicks the story into motion. I mean, by literally having his own kids kill him. Like it's
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
That
okay.
makes sense to have him as
Yeah.
the patriarch. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
but,
and then
but-
also to have him die right at the start too, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, but before that, they kind of present him as this aging, almost godlike figure who like has like total power and dominion over everything or something. It's really well done, I will say that.
My only question with David Cronenberg and Ready Player or Not, Ready Player or Not is
Ready Player or Not one.
yeah. Does David Cronenberg get any back and forth with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
I think just briefly, like they
Okay.
have maybe just a bit of an interaction there. He has more interaction with the guy who plays his son.
Sean Hatsoy or whatever, like from the
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
I kind of need to see that.
Pit? Dr. Jack Abbott.
Yeah.
That is a fax machine.
Kevin Durant's in it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll see it eventually.
It's fun.
All right. So anyway, we're done. Thanks guys for listening to the ramble, and let's get out of here.